I remember the sound first. Mom's voice cutting to the laughter like a knife. He doesn't deserve that car after the way he treats us. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't meant to be. Her tone carried that familiar cocktail of martyrdom and venom. Dad chuckled beside her, swirling his glass. If he won't lend it to us, maybe we should teach him a lesson. Accidentally scratch it or something. The room laughed. Everyone except me. I looked around at them. The family I'd once bent over backward for. My sister pretending shock, but clearly entertained. Mom glowing under the attention. Dad with that smug grin he always wore when someone else was a joke. I smiled back calm, reached into my pocket, and quietly said, "Actually, about that car." The laughter stopped instantly. Curiosity first, then unease. I'll admit I enjoyed the pause. They had no idea what I'd already done. 2 years ago, when I bought that car, it wasn't just a vehicle. It was a symbol, proof that I'd pulled myself free from their control. The constant belittling, the manipulations disguised as family concern. When I left home, they called me ungrateful. When I started my business, they said it would fail. And when it didn't, when I finally built something for myself, suddenly they wanted in. They didn't congratulate me. They calculated me. The first warning came when Dad asked to borrow the car for a weekend. He returned it with scratches near the door and shrugged. It was like that when I got it. Mom called me dramatic for even mentioning it. Then came the text. My sister asking for money. Mom guilt-tripping me for not visiting. Dad sending pictures of bills he couldn't pay. Every single one in the same way. "You're doing so well. You could help." I ignored most of it until one night I got a message for someone else. From my sister. "Just tell him we'll fix it later. He'll believe anything Mom says." Seconds later, another, "Don't worry. Once he signs over the papers for the house. He's done." That was the night something inside me went cold. Revenge, I've learned, isn't loud. It's quiet, precise, planned in silence while you smile through dinner. So I started small. I gave them what they wanted, or at least what they thought they wanted. I agreed to help refinance the family home. I offered to transfer funds from my business into a joint account under Mom's name. Her idea, of course. She called it a family trust. I set it up exactly as she asked, but the documents she signed weren't what she thought. That account wasn't a trust. It was a liability under her name, tied directly to every overdue bill, every unpaid loan, every expense Dad had racked up over the last decade. Every misstep, every payment, legally traceable to them. Quietly, neatly, legally. By the time they realized, it was too late. The debt collectors weren't calling me anymore. They were calling them. Back to the living room. The smell of roast chicken lingered. Laughter echoed faintly. Everyone unwrapped gifts like nothing had changed. Mom's comment still hung there. Dad's laugh still burned in my ears. I turned the car keys over my hand. "Actually, about that car," I said. "All eyes on me. I sold it last week. Transfer the money into your account, Mom." Her eyes widened. "You what? Why would you?" I leaned forward, voice low. "The family trust account. Remember?" I saw it then. The flicker of realization, the color draining from her face. Dad frowned, clueless. What's he talking about? Mom didn't answer. She couldn't. I let the silence stretch. "The bank should be contacting you soon," I added. Something about overdue balances. My sister glanced between us, piecing it together. "Wait, what did you do?" I smiled. "I just made sure the car finally paid for something useful." No one spoke, not even Dad. I stood, placed the keys on the table, and said quietly, "Merry Christmas." As I walked out, I felt only stillness. For years, I'd been the scapegoat, the selfish one, the one who forgot where he came from. But tonight, for the first time, I saw them for what they were, users who mistook kindness for weakness. The car was never about status. It was about control, and I had taken it back. Revenge didn't need to scream. It whispered through paperwork, through silence, the kind they'd feel every time the phone rang, every time they checked their dwindling balance. As I stepped into the cold night, I caught my reflection in a window, calm, composed, free. And for the first time in years, I smiled. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it slips away quietly while everyone else is still inside, wondering what just hit.